And from Wisconsin, Mr. Grothman for 5 minutes.
Ms. Donnelly, you've been testifying before this committee for apparently quite a while. And I know you were before this committee in 2008 when maybe many of us weren't around. Could you let us know whether you feel there's been improvement over the last 8 years? You could compare the current environment at the Forest Service today compared to 8 years ago?
I wish I could say there was improvement. One thing that had improved, and I can't. Things have gotten worse in terms of the blatant harassment against women, minorities, people with disabilities, the complete disengagement of Secretary Vilsack and Chief Tidwell and Dr. Leonard from working with the coalition and other groups to try to resolve these issues. In the previous administration, we had access to the secretary meetings, access to the chief. We were invited to the White House, and there was more of a collaborative effort. And in the last 8 years, there's been virtually no response to our requests. And our request has been very simple. It's to merely sit down and start talking, have a dialogue to talk about the issues and exchange ideas and move towards resolution. And Secretary Vilsack and Dr. Leonard and Chief Tidwell have absolutely not wanted to do that. And the conditions for employees have worsened.
Wow. So under current Ag Secretary, under the Obama administration, as bad as things were in 2008, things have gotten even worse, even more callous, even more who cares.
That's correct. I've actually seen an increase in women reporting rape. Now, the agency won't tell you that, but women are afraid to come forward and report it. They won't even report it to the police because they don't want the agency to know. Because, again, I refer back to Alicia Dabney. When she reported these things, the agency trumped her up on false charges and terminated her. And they did it publicly so other women employees could see the chilling effect it would have for a woman to come forward. And people have children, they have mortgages, and women will suffer in silence rather than lose their job. It's a disgrace.
I'm going to switch aside just to one other question, then I'm going to come back to you. This question can be, I guess, for whoever feels qualified to ask it. We always get a variety of information before these hearings. I noticed here there was a consent decree under hardly a 40-year-old case now, Bernardi versus Madigan. Is that consent decree still in? If you guys are familiar with it, is that still in effect?
No, it isn't.
Okay. Okay. Ms. Donnelly, can you give us some more? I mean, this Beckett thing is just almost unbelievable. I mean, just when you think the government couldn't get any worse, they get worse. But could you give me some other examples of cases that you'd like to tell this committee?
Yes, I do have many. And one thing I would like to make really clear to the committee that hasn't been brought out very clearly, when Mr. Beckett was brought back this year to be a motivational speaker, it wasn't the first time the agency did that after he retired. Very shortly after he retired, the agency let him come back, be hired on an incident management team that goes out to fire assignments across the nation. And we found that out. It was done very sneakily, and we found that out, and Ms. Rice was very concerned because she would possibly unknowingly run into him on a fire assignment. And it took us a lot of work to get the agency to take him off that team.
So you got back on the payroll again?
Yes.
That's what you're saying?
Yes, absolutely. And the agency supported it until we really fought to get him off that team. So bringing him back as a motivational speaker was the second time.
Okay. Yeah. Ms. Lago, you made a point of saying that when he came back as a motivational speaker, he wasn't paid, and even then that was not appropriate. Do you agree, though, that he was also brought back as a paid employee for a while and could have wound up working with Ms. Rice?
Thank you for the opportunity to respond. In fact, he was picked up on a California contract crew and he appeared on one of our fires. And Ms. Donnelly helpfully raised that to our attention, and we immediately intervened to get him, his contract crew off our fire, and to put direction out that he should never be allowed to be contracted with, appear on our fire, et cetera.
Ms. Rice, it looks like you have something to say. Do you?
I disagree. He was picked up on a team with the agency.
Okay.
I disagree.
He was working.
He wasn't on a contract crew. He didn't have a contract crew.
Okay. Well, we're not going to be able to settle that today, but obviously I wish we'd be able to get to the bottom of that. Ms. Rice, you're pretty confident that he was working for the Forest Service again?
Yes.
Okay. Why don't we track down the answer to that?
And if the gentleman yield, do you have, how long, what was the time span? So he leaves the one position, how long before he's back on a crew?
A month?
About a month later?
2 months?
And then how long did he serve in that role? Do you have any idea?
I don't think it was very long, a couple months.
Okay. Thank you. The gentleman yields back. Let's